guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Patty and I'm a gnome maker. If you like gnomes, be sure and subscribe. Today I'm going to show you how to make this cute little safari gnome. He's got his little messenger bag, his binoculars, his little hat. If you want to know how to make them, stick around. I'll show you how. Also, we have a Facebook group with a lot of inspiration in there. If you'd like to join, the link is in the description below. We'd love to have you. Thanks for watching. Okay guys, what you're going to need for this gnome is you're going to need the pattern. It's in the description below. Got both SVG and PDF files. You're going to need a 4.5-inch pool noodle, 2 little Dollar Tree shoes, 4 corks. You're going to need some sticks. Those are 6-inch by 1/4 inch, and then some little sticks for his binoculars. You need some fabric for his body. You're going to need some foam for his hat in 2 different colors, some faux fur. You're going to need a bead for his nose, some string. You're going to need some hair noodles, a little kid's sock. You're going to need a couple beads for his hand. You're going to need some a 3-inch ornament, just a half of it. You're going to need some fabric for the hat band and his belt, some fabric for his skin, some paint to paint his binoculars with, some pellets to weight them, and you're going to need a piece of suede for his shoes. Okay, let's get started. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take our 3-inch ornament. We are going to heat it up. I'm using an embossing gun, and we're going to break that little tab off so we have a complete circle. We don't want any excess stuff on there, so we need to get rid of that. Then we're going to take our 6 pieces of triangles, and we are going to attach those starting at the very top of our ornament and coming down each side. You are going to hang over the edge a little bit, but we're going to trim all that off when we get done. So just get all those put on there. I just did one side and then matched up the other side. And then just keep gluing those down until they're completely done. You're just going to have a little gap between each one of them as you put them on. But that's what that little piece of foam is going to cover it up with. See, just right there, a little gap. And we're going to cover it up with that piece of foam. So once you get all those put together, then we'll come back in and we'll put the little pieces of foam. Just try to get, pretty close to them. It doesn't have to be perfect because we are going to cover a lot of it up. And don't worry so much about what's on the top because we are going to come back in and put a little button on top to cover all that stuff up as well. And you can use this same hat pattern to make a lot of different kinds of hats with it. Just change out your bill a little bit and you could do all kinds of hats with these. Okay, once we get that put together, we're going to go ahead and cover up each opening with these strips. Just take the glue and attach it. You don't have to be perfect about it because we are going to cover up the top when we're done. And they are going to hang off the edge a little bit. I just did it, made it a little bit extra so if you overlapped and you didn't have it long enough, there's a little bit of room for error without messing up your project. Just go around and apply all 6 of those to each opening. And this will hold good together really, really good. Okay, we're going to go ahead and add our little top to it to cover up all the stuff on top. And then we're going to flip it over and we're just going to go ahead and trim right to the edge of that ornament all the way around to kind of clean up those edges. Then we're going to take our top and we're going to wiggle it on down over the top of that. Come down and about, say, a 1/4 inch from the edge. And then we're going to take glue and we're just going to glue it between each one of those little pieces right to the ornament, and that'll hold your hat together. Then we're going to go ahead and take the other piece that's just like that brim and attach it so we have a little bit of thickness to the hat and it'll stand out a little bit better. Just glue that on, and when you glue that on, make sure that you've got it right to the edge because you can't take that back up once you glue it. Trust me, I did it. Now we're going to take our little brown strap. It goes straight across the very front. Find one place and that those little pieces come down the hat, and that could be the very front center of your hat. And just make sure you glue that straight across there. You're going to come up underneath and glue it inside there. And then we're going to just trim that off. This is just a little band for the very front. All right, then go ahead and snip those off, and then we're going to go ahead and make our hat band. You're going to use a 1 by 12 inch. I had to trim mine, but by the time I got done putting this all together, 1 by 12 is what you need on the strip. We're just going to glue it down each side about a 1/4 inch. And that's going to make our band about a 1/2 inch. So just get that glued down all the way around. That's where I went ahead and trimmed mine. So 12 inches is what you need. Then go ahead and finish gluing it down. And then we're going to wrap it around the hat. So make sure that you are right in the center of the front. And then we're going to glue it down. And one end we're going to take and we're going to fold it over and glue it down so that we have a nice trimmed out edge on it. You can glue one side down and then overlap with the other one. And then just be sure the one that you are overlapping, you do fold that edge in so it has a nice clean edge at the end. Okay, once we got that done, we're going to go ahead and start our body. We're going to take our corks that we already drilled holes in and we're going to put our sticks through them. These are 1/4 inch by 6 inch sticks. Just put those on there. And then we're going to go ahead and shave the edge of them a little bit because our shoes are going to be pretty thick and we're going to have to get them down in there real good. So just shave the edge of those all the way around on both of them. Just probably about maybe 3/4 of the way down. And it doesn't have to be a lot, just a little. Then we're going to take our leg fabric. We're just going to put one seam down one side. This is going to be the back of our leg. And then we're going to glue our cork in there. And we are going to glue our cork about 1/4 inch just below that line right there. The bottom cork. Because we need it to go into the shoe. And we are going to cover it up with a sock. So you're not going to see any of that. And just go all the way around. Glue that down. And then we're going to do the same thing for the other side. Just a little bit below that second cork. And roll it up. And glue that down. Okay, then we're going to cut slits in it. Probably about 5 slits all the way around. And this is what's going to attach it to our noodle. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just get those slits on there. And you don't want to skip this step because you do want those legs to stay on if somebody were to pull them or something. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to make his pants. We're going to do his pockets first. We're going to take 8 pieces. 4 of them are for the flap and 4 of them are for the pockets. And we're just going to go 1/4 inch all the way around each piece. Go all the way around 1/4 inch. And then we're going to do the same thing for all 8 pieces. Okay, now that we've got all of those done, we're going to go ahead and start building our pockets. We're going to take 4 of these. We're going to fold them in half, glue them together, and that's going to be the flap for our pocket. So you'll have 4 pockets total for his pants. Just fold it over. And then we're going to glue it across the top part of that. And that's going to make 1 pocket with 1 flap. And we're going to do the same thing for all 4 of them. Just fold them over. Glue them on. Because we want his pants to have some flaps. Alright, now that you got that done, we're going to go ahead and build his pants. We're going to take the 2 backs together, glue them just across the top part of the pants in the inseam. And we're going to do that on both pieces. Just glue only across the top part of the inseam. Don't go all the way down the leg. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and open them up with facing sides together. And we are going to sew along the inseam of the inside of the leg, all the way around to the other inseam of the other leg. Once you get that glued in, then we're going to go down both sides of the leg. And then that will complete his pants. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to set our pants aside and we're going to go ahead and build our shoes. Okay, you're just going to take each shoe and you're going to fill it up with some polyfill, and then we're going to add tape to the bottom to hold that in. Just get it as full as you can, and then we're going to just tape up each shoe. And don't put too much tape on the sides because you do want your shoe to be smooth. So try to get that tape smoothed out as much as you can. Okay, then we're going to take our foam, we're going to trace our shoes, and then we're going to cut these out, and these are going to be the soles. Don't worry if it's not perfect. We can trim those out once we get them put on there. Just cut those two ovals out, and we're going to attach those to our shoes. You can use whatever color foam you want. I just used what I had. Okay, then we're just going to glue those to the bottom of the shoe. And there's not a right and a left on these, obviously. So they'll be the same. Okay, once you get that glued on there, then we're going to go ahead and take our scissors and we're just going to trim out the excess all the way around. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and start building our shoe, and I apologize in advance that I did get out of the video a little bit. So I'm going to show you right here. You're going to come down just about 1/4 of an inch from the edge, and that's where your center mark is going to be. Just glue that around there, and then pull the other flap, and you're going to go all the way down to the bottom of the shoe with the corner. That edge needs to go all the way down to the bottom of the shoe. And do the same thing on both sides. And I did get out of the camera just a little bit over here, but that edge went right down to the bottom of the shoe. And then we're going to go ahead and take our backing piece, and we're going to make it even all the way around. So right center it, and come around to the front, and go all the way down to the edge of that shoe. And then glue both those flaps down. Then I got out of the camera on the strap, so I'm going to show you the strap on the second one. So you will see one shoe finished that's sitting down there while I'm showing you how to finish out this shoe. Okay, then we're going to cut little slits in this. You can cut one straight down the middle, and then you're going to go around the edges a little bit. You don't have to have too many of them. I think I put a total of 5. And then we're going to glue that down into the shoe. So just take that glue, put it all the way around the edge there. You're not going to see any of this, so just start tucking it down into that shoe. Okay, this is where I got out of the camera, so I'm on my second shoe, and you're going to do the same thing. You just go take that strap, go all the way down to the bottom of the shoe, and wrap it all the way around, and you're going to pull it as you go. I'm using the Cricut suede sheets. They worked really good for this. You can make a lot of shoes with one sheet. So, okay, and just go all the way around, and then glue it to the back, and then we're going to trim it off right down the center and glue that off. Okay, then we're going to take some leather straps, and we're going to make some little shoelaces and just tie them in a bow. I'm just using some little leather strap that I got at Michael's. It's just a thin leather. You can use whatever you want to. Just tie them in a bow, and we're going to attach them to the front part of our shoes. Just glue them on. And that kind of gives it a little bit of like it's a loafer type shoe. Okay, then once we finish getting that glued on, we're going to put those aside, and we're going to go ahead and start building our legs. We're going to take our legs, stick them into our pool noodle, just center it in there, and make sure the other one goes in straight across from that one. And you want to make sure that you have your seam of your leg to the back on both of them. I totally missed this one. I got in a hurry, and I glued my little tabs down to my noodle, and then I figured it out. So just you're going to glue each one of those tabs down. This is what's going to hold your legs to your noodle. But make sure that you have your seam right, because when I had to stop the video, pull all that back out and fix it. So make sure at this point you do have your seams even on both legs and to the back. And then glue all those little tabs down. And you're not going to see any of these. We're going to cover all this up with the pants. But just make sure you do not skip this step. It's an important one. Alright, now that we got those all glued down, we're going to go ahead and make a 1 1/4 inch cuff on the inside of each leg before we turn these pants right side out, because we're going to have a 1/2 inch cuff on the front part of the leg. So make sure that you get it a 1 1/4 of an inch up, and then glue those in all the way around. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add our pockets. Turn your pants right side out. And we're going to attach our pockets just above the cuff. So make sure you put your inseams together, because we're going to do that down the side of the leg first, and then we'll do the back. Just put your pocket up there, fold up your bottom 1/2 inch, and that's where you're going to put your pocket just right above that 1/2 inch mark. We're going to attach one to both sides, and then we're going to turn them over, and we're going to attach them to the back. And on the back, we're just going to attach them maybe just a little bit above the pockets on the side, but not a lot, but just a little bit, just to kind of give it some dimension. Okay, open up the back, and we're going to take our pockets and put these on the back, just above, just a little bit above where our other pockets are. Probably about an inch from the top edge, because you do want all these pockets to show once we get the shirt on. Okay, after we get those pockets on, we're going to go ahead and turn our cuff up 1/2 inch on the bottom on both legs, all the way around, and we're going to glue those in. So just a 1/2 inch cuff on those. And same thing for the other leg as well. And we're going to just glue those in all the way around. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and attach them to our body. Just make sure that your seam of your leg is in the back of the body. Okay, go ahead and wiggle those on down in there. Pull them up, and then we're going to tie a string around the waist to hold them on. And then we're going to come back here in a little bit, and we're going to glue them in. Okay, trim that off, and we're going to go ahead and attach our shoes. And you don't need to put glue on these, because these shoes are not going to come off. It took me a little bit of time to get these both on there. Just wiggle those on down in there and get those feet in there, and just kind of make sure that they're level. Then we're going to go ahead and take one of these little kid socks. It's a little newborn sock. Cut it in half. Cut down one side, and we're going to make socks with these. Okay, we're just going to open those up, and we're going to fold those over. We're trying to make a sock probably about 1 inch tall. So if you can't find a newborn sock and you want to use something else, I mean, you could use gauze or whatever, but just make it about 1 inch tall, inch or less. And then we're going to slouch them down so that you can see his legs. Okay, trim them off a little bit on each side so that they're even. And then we're just going to wrap that right around the top part of the shoe all the way around the leg. And just make sure that you finish your seam in the back. And then fold that edge over so we have a nice finished edge on the end. You might have to do some trimming. And then line it up down the back. And let that dry. And then we're going to turn these over, and we're going to just kind of slouch them down a little bit. And we're going to add some glue, because we do want the front part of his legs to show a little bit. So just kind of pull them on down there, slouch them down a little bit, and do the same thing for the back. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and attach the second one. Same way, just put a dollop of glue in the back, wrap it around, and then we're going to finish it off in the back. Just put the glue down at the lower part of the sock so that you can slouch at the top part of the sock. Fold that over to have a nice trimmed out edge, and then we're just going to glue that down. All right, then we're going to turn him over, and we're going to slouch this side down as well, and then we're going to glue it in. Then we're going to turn him over, and we're going to do the same thing for the back. Just pull it on down so you can see his leg. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and build his arms and his body. We're going to take his body on the 5.5 inch side. We are going to glue the two sides together. This is a 5 by 5.5, and you want to glue on the 5.5 inch side. Glue down both sides, and then we're going to put that aside and let that dry while we build our arms. Okay, we're going to take our arms, and we're just going to make a cuff on the bottom, fold it up, and then we're going to do that to both sides, and then we're going to turn them over with the facing sides together, and we're going to glue down one side. That way when we turn these right side out, we'll have a nice seam down the back, not just to fold it over, because we want the arms to not be so tight onto the noodle. All right, while that's drying, we're going to go ahead and make our belt. We're just going to fold that over, that edge over 1/4 of an inch on both sides, and that'll be our belt for his waist. Okay, we're going to put that aside, and we're going to go ahead and hem up the bottom of his shirt 1/4 of an inch up, all the way around. And then we're going to get that glued in. That way we'll have a nice trimmed out edge. And then I totally messed up the top part of his shirt, and I'm going to show you what I did here in a little bit. And I think it turned out better than what the original pattern was going to be. And I messed up the arm here too. So go ahead and turn this right side out, and I'll show you what I did that you don't want to do. Okay, you're going to turn both of those right side out on both of them. Just take a little peg and stick it through there to get them all the way opened. Okay, this is where I messed it up. I took the noodle and I glued the bead onto the tip of it. Then I pulled it on down through the shirt sleeve, and I glued right there. I don't know what I was thinking, but when I started pulling it on down, it was a struggle. You don't want to do it like this. So do it like the second arm, and it'll turn out much better. Trust me. I end up having to really stop the video, throw it away, and make a new one. So then this one, what I did is I ran the noodle through all the way to the top, and I put my glue in at that point. Put it right where you want it, and then go ahead and attach your bead there. That's the right way. Okay, we're going to take our shirt, we're going to turn it right side out, we're going to go ahead and put it over the top of our noodle, and I left about maybe a half inch. I went just down to where his pockets were is what I did. I didn't want to cover his pockets up, so I pulled his shirt on down to where his pockets were. Then I decided I'd go ahead and I'd glue the waist down all the way around. And then I pulled the noodle down, the shirt down just to the top part of the pockets. Okay, then I took a string and I wrapped it around the top part, tied it up pretty tight. And we're going to remove this string here a little bit because we are going to glue the top part of the noodle. Then I got my scissors and I trimmed the excess fabric off the top. Then I had to switch scissors because these were not cutting. So I got my sewing scissors out and finished trimming that on the way around. All right, now we're going to go ahead and attach his arms. Just put them up there, and we are going to put them just right to the edge of his bottom of his shirt, and we're going to cut both of those excess pieces off. Then I'm going to attach a little bit of glue to the inside part just to make sure that the arm stays onto that noodle. Okay, then I'm going to take my noodle and I'm going to go ahead and put glue all the way around the top edge of that shirt to hold it in real good. Glue it in real good, and then we're going to take that string off. Then to attach his arms, we want a little bit of indent here, so I'm just taking my glue gun, sticking it down there and making an indent so I can pull that arm into the noodle. And you're going to need to do this so that your hat will fit. So it's just going to be indented in there. Hold it until it dries. And then we're going to do the same thing for the opposite side as well. Put a little bit of glue underneath his arm just to hold it tight. And then you're going to make another indent with your glue gun. And we're going to stick that other arm on there too, into the noodle, so it stays almost flush with the body. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and put his belt around his waist. Just line it up at the front, and we are just going to go all the way around, and we're going to attach it in the back. Just fold one edge over and glue it, and then fold the other edge over, and make sure that you fold the edge over so that you'll have a nice trimmed out edge on it. Okay, and then this is where I made a change, and he'll be all decked out in his accessories now, but I came back and I folded up his shirt all the way around so it'd be above the belt. And then I glued it in like it was bloused out of the pants. I just thought it was a nicer look to him. It was just a change I made at the very end, but I wanted you to see what I did. And I just glued that down so it looked like his shirt was tucked in and bloused out. So just glue it right along the edge. All you gotta do is just fold that shirt up fold it up in there, and then glue it down. And it'll look like it's a bloused out, like it's tucked in his pants. I just thought it looked so much better because when I finished, I thought his shirt looked a little bit short. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and do his beard. We're going to go ahead and cut all the way around this. On the backing only. Just cut the backing only. And then go ahead and clean the excess hair off of it. Then we're going to take our gnome and put it right at the very top edge. Glue it across there. And that's a rubber band I used to hold the arms on while they dried. Okay, get it right up towards the very edge. And then we're going to go ahead and attach his hat. And we're going to put his nose right at the edge of the hat. So push that hat all the way down. And then we're going to attach a dollop of glue to his nose and attach his nose. Then we're going to take that off and we're going to attach the hat to the body. We're just going to put a lot of glue around the very, very top part, including the little arms. And we're just going to push that right down onto that hat. Right onto that body. You get that hat on, we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of glue, a couple little spaces around, a little glue at the top of his nose, and glue that to the hat. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and make our accessories. We're going to take our little dowel pins, and we're going to paint them black. These are going to be for our binoculars. So make sure you paint the tips and the centers and everything. Get them really, really glued up good. And I'm just using the matte black glue. Okay, while those dry, we're going to go ahead and build his little messenger bag. We're going to take the two squares together so it has a little bit of dimension to it. And then we're going to take the front flap and glue it to it. Once you got that done, we're going to go ahead and add his straps to the front part of the messenger bag. Just glue those straight down. And there's an SVG file there. You can cut it out if you have a Cricut. Or I have a PDF as well, and you can just cut it out by hand. Then we're going to take his bag and we're going to add his strap to it. And you can adjust the size of the strap if you want to. I actually use pretty much the whole length of this strap. Okay, add a little glue to each side. Actually just one side because we're going to wrap it around him to make sure it's the right length before we glue it on. And you're not going to get it over his hat, so you have to do it while it's on the gnome. Just wrap it around his neck, come down underneath his beard. And we're going to attach the strap onto the body. Just add a little glue to the straps in and attach it to the sides, same length as you did on the opposite one. And then make sure it's exactly where you want it to be, and then we're going to go ahead and glue him down. Just going to lift up his beard, glue the front strap down. Then we're going to glue the little messenger bag to the side so it doesn't stick straight out. And then we're going to attach a little bit of glue to the back just to hold it in place. Not a lot, just a little. We're going to go ahead and finish up his binoculars. We're going to take the two straps and glue them together so it has a nice finished look on both sides. And again, I have this in the SVG if you want to cut it out with your Cricut. We're going to go ahead and take a little bit of glue, wrap the strap part of the way around it, and then we're going to glue the strap that goes around his neck in before we glue this down. These are 1.25 inch dowel rods, and I'm probably putting maybe a 1/2 inch of the fabric around the middle of them. Go ahead and put that strap in, and then go ahead and finish gluing that over. So you're going to glue right over the strap. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and glue the centerpiece, probably about right in the center there. And that's about a 1/2 inch. And then we're going to take our strap, cut it in half. We're going to build the opposite side of their binoculars. You just want to make sure that you get them the same. Make sure the seam is in the back on these. Make sure the strap length is the same. well, not the strap length, but where the strap is located, and then where you have this center piece that goes around it, just make sure that you got it in the same place, because once you glue those binoculars together, you will see if you don't have them side by side. So I'm going to make sure before I glue it on that I have it exactly the same space. All right, then go ahead and wrap that around, trim that excess piece off, and then we're going to go ahead and glue that down. Then we're going to go ahead and attach our two binoculars together and attach it to our gnome. I didn't put these around his neck because he had too much stuff going on. So what we're going to do is we're going to glue these just up underneath his beard. So figure out exactly where you want these to be located before you start trimming all your pieces off. I just put mine just where they hung down, just below his beard. And then I'm just going to glue the edges in and put it up underneath his beard. And then I'm going to glue his beard down to hold it in. So they're just right there at his pocket, pretty much where his pockets are. Just glue a little across that beard and then glue it down. All right, there you have it. Cute little safari gnome. If you liked the video, hit like. If you want to see future videos, hit subscribe. And if you want to be notified when I have a new video, hit the bell. Thanks for watching.